Today we're going to do an oil change on a 2023 GMC Yukon Denali, Yukon XL Denali. And in order to prepare for the oil change, we've got 7 quarts of AMSOIL diesel oil, 0W20. It's a diesel truck. We have 2 cans of Liquimoly engine flush. And we've got the HP 1021 K&N filter with a the wrench top. So it says right here it's a wrench off nut removal only. So way easier to remove. So you don't have to use any snake oil and belts to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is put engine flush into the engine and let the engine run for 15 minutes. Now we're going to start the engine, and we're going to let it run for 15 minutes. The engine has now run for 15 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and shut off the engine. And some of the tools that we need, we're gonna use this what's the brand here? FloTool metal pan to avoid any drips going to my garage floor, and I'm just using this drain pan that I randomly picked up at O'Reilly Auto Parts, and it's a Flow. If anybody's interested, it's FloTool 24 quart. And I like it because it drains here. It's a nice big opening, and it also has a spout that you can empty this into the bottles to take to the auto parts recycling store later. So what we're gonna do now is remove the oil cap. And remove the oil dipstick. And just put it aside. And then now we're gonna get underneath and start draining the oil. It's also important to use the right tools. So we have a 15mm drive to open up the drain plug, and I'm using a 1-inch drive to remove the oil filter. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this oil plug with 15-inch drive, and here's the K&N filter with a convenient drive thing that lets you remove it easily without having to use any crazy tools. Now we're going to remove the plug and try to hold it in to the engine. And let it out. You can see how liquid it is because the engine flush was applied. Now we're removing the oil filter, and you see how easy it is to use it, to remove it with the wrench. Because the last time I put it on, and I've done oil change on this truck, it has 50,000 miles, so I've done 9 oil changes, including the filter. Now this is the oil change number 10. And just slowly open it up, let it empty. Important to use gloves. The oil is hot. Okay, it's draining. I'm gonna prepare the new oil filter by filling it up with oil, so that way it has oil in it. When the engine starts, it starts circulating the oil throughout the engine, the pump, and all the other places that it already primed with oil, so there's no gaps of no oil coming through your engine as you're cranking it for the first time. As you can see, this oil is very liquid, 0W20. It's so hard with one hand, but maybe I'll get one of these forehead cameras. Looks good to me. So that's ready to go in. Some oil on the gasket. The car has been draining the oil for like last 10-15 minutes already. I have cleaned the oil plug. I'll wipe it down. And we're gonna just hand tight it. I'm not gonna torque it. I did torque it in the past because I'm also work on the Mercedes engines and the Audi oil changes in my car fleet. And I just found that it's easier to just hand torque this one, because when I torque it to the specs, I have a hard time actually unscrewing it when I need it. So I think the torque spec is probably too tight, so I'm just gonna hand tighten it. And that's just my opinion. You can do whatever you want. So just hand tight, it's good enough. Now we've got, I've got the filter opening. So just wipe off some of this old stuff. We've got the pre-filled oil filter, which I managed to tilt to the side and spill a little bit. Just gonna give it a wipe down so it doesn't look like there's oil leaking out of it. It's very important when you finish your job doing oil change, let the car run a few minutes just to make sure there's no oil leaks coming from below. But make sure everything is good. So I'm just gonna hand tight this. That's what I did. I used to torque this again in the past in my initial oil changes in this car, but I don't anymore. I just give it a nice hand tight, and a little bit of this, and that's good enough. It doesn't need to be crazy tight. Okay, so we got the oil filter complete. We've got the plug in there. We'll wipe off some of this stuff here. Make sure everything is clean. Now we can go up to the engine and fill this up with oil. Now we're back at the engine. We're going to fill this up with new oil. I'm going to use a funnel with a built-in filter. We're going to take the oil dipstick and insert it back into the engine. And it takes 7 of these. I'm gonna use these bottles later to put old oil into them. So we've got 6 in. Now let's check the oil level before we put the last one in. It looks like we're almost there, but if we start the engine, it's going to go down. So I'm going to put in the last one. Make sure we close the engine oil cap. Wipe off any drippings. Now we can start the engine and let it run a little bit. Just so the oil level balances out. Got the engine running. Now we can go to the menu. And reset the oil. Yes. Now we are at 100%. And we can put the sticker up on the windshield to reflect that we did the oil change. The sticker I have here now is for the Ceratec additive. That's added to the engine every 30,000 miles, and it does greatly improve the power level and the noise and other things, but that's a separate topic. Okay, I let the engine run for a few minutes. Now we're gonna check the oil level. And we have almost full. It's 7 quarts in. I mean, I can add a little tiny bit from another bottle, but I think we're good at this. It's about almost full. So that's 7 quarts, including what we put in the oil filter total that was added to the engine. So I have another shipment coming from AMSOIL, so I'll add like a little tiny bit just to make it full, but we're good. Well, that's all there is to it. That was a 2023 GMC Yukon XL Denali oil change. I've done 10 of them, including the one I'm filming right now. So far, the engine oil flush hopefully has been giving benefits to this engine, to this car with this engine. I have another vehicle that's a 2016 Mercedes that's under the covers. It has 330,000 miles on it, and it's been on a diet of Liquimoly engine oil and Liquimoly engine flush, in addition to the Liquimoly Ceratec friction modifier. This engine I'm using AMSOIL 0W20, this engine on the GMC. I am using the Liquimoly engine flush as well on every oil change. So hopefully this will hit the 300,000 mark just like the Mercedes did. The Mercedes, by the way, still runs perfect. It just needs a new transfer case chain, but that's another topic in another video. Have a good day, everyone.